Well, it's my pleasure to introduce you all to Kylie, who is a 39-year-old young mum, three kids, full of life. But Kylie, you've had quite the interesting, past 12 months, just in terms of where you've come from, what it is you've had to walk through. You literally hit a place in your life where you'd burnt out. You'd been working hard in the corporate world. You got to a stage where literally your life was withering away. You were bedridden for almost 6 months. And that was when we connected and you started this program. There were a number of things that had popped up, a number of changes that you desperately wanted to make. You've lost 5 kilos so far, a couple of months into your particular program with where it is you're at, but have had some massive transformations, not just within yourself, your routine, your eating habits, your getting outside and exercising and really turning your life around. But tell us a little bit about yourself and first of all, why it was that you joined this program.
Yeah, so I had burnout from work. I pushed myself too hard for 20 years and had 3 kids and relationships, and it all just came crashing down. And I really struggled with that. I struggled with not being perfect and failing, and so I literally stopped trying, and I stayed pretty much in bed for 6 months. And my only connection with the outside world really was to look on Facebook. One day I really felt like I had to do something to get myself out of the situation that I was in, because I was heavily medicated and I was not there for my family.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I didn't do something serious to get myself out of that I would just remain or get worse in the situation that I was in. So I saw an ad on Facebook, and I just thought, that's what I need. That is what I need. I need to reach out. I need someone who can connect with me, but it's not going to put me under too much pressure. I don't actually have to leave the house, So I thought, I want to do something, but I don't actually want to have to do too much.
Before we jump ahead and talk about your program, in summary, really, you got to a point of burnout where you had for so long put other people before yourself, whether it be work or kids or husband, responsibilities, which is normal. And most people who are watching this right now can relate to that. They've got pressures, they've got life that is pressing in on them. But, obviously the result of that was that it had drastically impacted you from a health point of view, mindset, emotions, etc., of which you were getting some support for as well. But the breakdown of a relationship, of a marriage, and at a point where you were desperate. It was something where you knew you had to change. You knew you had to get out of your comfort zone, which was quote unquote hell for you anyway, in the sense that you weren't in a happy place. So you wanted to change. The reasons why you needed to change were evident too, but still, it took a massive leap of faith. It took a massive amount of commitment and trust, not only to yourself and in yourself, but to me as well, with what it is we've been working on. And you've absolutely flourished. You've absolutely shone, with the follow through and taking the action and seeing the results. And for you, it wasn't always a massively focus on weight loss and all that sort of thing. It was really bringing the holistic approach to mind, body, soul, the nutrition, the training, etc. Let's talk about the practical elements of how you've actually woven this program together into your life, and I guess some of your biggest wins, some of your biggest lessons, aside from the outcomes of the weight loss and the improved energy and all those little elements. But what's been some of the biggest mindset shifts that you've had?
I think the biggest one, the biggest shift has been to just do things, just do it, and stop thinking about it. Stop thinking of all the excuses. There's always going to be excuses. Stop thinking of all the reasons why not to. I am a fixer. I like to fix other people, and I know I do all of that so that I don't have to fix myself. And I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't tell my kids, you can, when I was showing them, I can't. So I just had to shut off the negative, I can't, and just do it.
So what I hear you saying is not only an initial leap of faith of, I'm going to make this change, but then a daily leap of faith of, I just got to do this, do that. Take these little steps without overthinking, over rationalizing or analyzing your mind, whether you can or can't or should or must or whatever it might be.
Yeah, it's a minute by minute situation where I can get out of bed, I can drop my kids at school, and I can exercise. And in the car on the way home, I can be telling myself, no, just go back to bed. It'd just be so much easier. So it's a minute by minute. Keep going. Just do it.
It's interesting you touch on that, because something we've seen with you, and something, again, you've done really well with, is this constant battle between your ego and your truest self. And there was something which I picked up when I first spoke to you, a couple of months ago, and mapping out your personalized program with what it is we needed to work on. The one thing that really stood out to me, even though you're an incredibly heart-centered person, you're incredibly kind and caring and loving, sometimes to your own detriment, it was something where you had almost allowed that nature of yours, that goodwill nature of yourself, to really almost cover the truest sense of who you were and are under this pile of I've got to, I should, I must, etc. And really, if we look back over the last 20 years and a brief snapshot of where you've come from, what you've walked through, we can see this discrepancy between the part of yourself where you've projected it to the world that this is who Kylie is, and she's a fixer, and she's an accomplisher, and she can do this, and she can climb the corporate ladder, and she can be a full-time mum, and she can be a wife, and she can do all these things. But in the process of projecting who you think you should be and who you think you had to be in your life, it really came at the detriment of who you really are. And the thing that I'm really proud of with what we've managed to do with you is that you've really honored yourself in this process of change. You've really allowed yourself to shine. And by that, what I mean is minimizing your ego, which is, again, not an egotistical side to you. It's the reflection of, it's the projection of who you think you need to be, and really giving yourself the space, the time to breathe, to be, and like you said, just in each moment, minute by minute, do what it is you need to do to progress forward and really empower that part of yourself. Why don't you share a little bit more about that?
I guess I have walked through this life with the ego because she was strong and she was perfect and she could do everything, and it was easier to be her, to put that mask on and to go out and to just hand all control over to that ego. She ran the show. And when I realized I needed, when it all came crashing down, when she couldn't work anymore, when that ego wasn't going to get me by anymore, I thought that the opposite of that, the true me, must be weak and is failing and is soft and can't. And what I've learnt is that the true self is strong. It's calmer, it's quieter, it's resilient, but it's strong, and that I can use ego. I can use all the qualities that ego projects to the world when I need them. But the true me really is optimistic and knows that the future can be good, and I can be the real me, and I don't have to be perfect.
Here's the true thing, is that the true you is fully capable.
Yeah.
That you don't have to hide her away from the world, because as she is right now, she's exactly who she needs to be to become who it is she really wants to become, which is something I've been so proud of what you've been managing to do. I want you to touch on, I guess, the elements of the program, and of course we don't have time to go into the ins and the outs of the practicalities of how you've applied it, etc. But one key element I want you to touch on, because you posted a post in our private group forum, which is set up as a 24/7 support forum for those of you that are going through this process of change, no matter where you're at in Australia. You posted a comment which was, very touching. You were basically saying how blessed and lucky you felt to be a part of a close-knit community like that, where everyone was so supportive. Just share a little bit about your experience with this program, in particular, the support that you've had, whether it's from me or from the group. How's your experience been, and how has that helped you in the process of change?
It's funny because at the start, when you look through the posts of all these wonderful women who are working really hard and achieving their goals, I felt not good enough to start with. I thought, wow, I'm never going to be like that. they're kicking goals and they've got it all together. And once I stopped thinking about it and started doing it, I realized that I was just like them. That they just like me, and they started out probably the same as I did. And they didn't wake up one morning and were super fit and could run.
Yeah.
They took a step at a time, and I could be honest and I could be vulnerable and I could look on there and laugh or support or have support from them, that we were all in the same boat. And I think...
How did that help you change? How did that help you change?
It helped me because it allowed me to be vulnerable, and it allowed me to celebrate my wins.
Yeah.
And it pushed me because I was able to offer advice to help others at times, or take advice when I needed it. So it was more than just having a trainer or a phone call or one element of a program. It was there. It is there 24/7, anytime. Awesome.
And what about? Sorry to cut you off there. What about this element of, you and I have never met yet, and it's something where someone might be watching this and going, well, hang on, how the heck does Kylie, who's 39 years of age, she is young, she's got 3 kids, she's come through this massive transition, she's made some amazing progress in such a positive, significant way. How has she managed to do that when you and I have never met? We're not doing this face-to-face. I'm not there standing over you, making sure that you're giving your all in your session, and yet I've been there every step of the journey with you. I've challenged you, I've held you accountable, I've helped you through from the holistic process, the holistic point of view, as well as the finite details. Just explain how that's worked so well for you.
I think the most important lesson that you've taught me is that it's up to me to save myself. That you can be a trainer. I could meet with you once a week. I mean, it wouldn't really matter. In the end, the other 23 hours of the day, the rest of the days of the week, it's up to me to save myself. And that's the difference. That's the difference that you made. That's the skills that you've focused on with me, is to own it, to do it myself. Because I can pay lip service to any program. Anyone can. You can go to a trainer, you can go to a gym, you can say, I'm going to eat this, but what you actually do for yourself, no one can do that for you.
Yeah, I love that. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's something which I hear often from those who come through the program, is that it really empowers you to take responsibility completely for your life, in the sense that you're fully supported, fully guided, fully held accountable in the 24 hours of the day, not just the 1 hour of the day that you might be doing that face-to-face in the gym, for example, with a trainer or with a class or whatever it might be. You're fully supported, and yet at the same time, the onus of responsibility is on you to actually put the work in, to actually progress forward, to actually have that support in the process of changing. And something which I know other girls have touched on is that the vulnerability, because it's not a face-to-face, that actually works to the advantage, in the sense that you're able to get beyond the quote-unquote bullshit, in the sense of the egos at play, or pretending you have to be this or don't have to do that, or whatever it might be, and we can get straight to the heart of the matter. Here's what it is we need to focus on. Here's what needs to change. Now go do it. Don't overthink it. And in the process, let's see what you can achieve.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the anonymity helps that. It definitely allows you to be more vulnerable. It allows you to be more honest. And I told you from the start that I needed someone to call me on my bullshit. And my ego could have taken over. But the fact that it is so anonymous and it is so in the comfort of my own home, and I don't have to make excuses that I can't make an appointment.
Yeah.
It does make it so much easier. But in the end, if you're not going to step up and do it for yourself, it doesn't really matter what anybody else says to you.
Correct.
You have to find that within yourself to step up and do it and save yourself.
And done it, you have, and you've done that incredibly well. We celebrate you. We know that you're only partway along the progress in the sense of making these changes, but I have no doubt in my mind that you are so much more equipped now in the sense of where it is you're at. You're kicking goals. You are one of those girls, like you said, when you first joined the program, you thought, would I ever be good enough to say that I could be achieving these things? And you are, because you kind of put that ego aside, you put aside the fear, you put aside the thought process that said, I can't do this. You challenge yourself to change, and your life has changed for the better. Things are looking up. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Really do appreciate it. I know that someone watching this right now will relate with where it is you're at, and because of your change, will live a better life. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kylie.